Revita is a very interesting action roguelike that finally came out of early access that we had a chance to get a press key for. And while I don't think it does anything completely outside of the genre, it does have a very interesting twist that I think may make or break it for some people. With this action roguelike, you are tasked with climbing a tower where you are forced to relive it every time you die. And there are a lot of kind of hidden messages and story going on underneath the surface for people who want to dig in. But the general gameplay is pure action roguelike. You'll start a run by picking your main weapon, with weapons becoming unlocked the more you play. As you go through, you'll kill enemies and collect their souls, and your health can be either refilled or increase its max capacity by using up these souls. Now, what makes the game very interesting is that your health is your actual currency, and buying items, opening chests, and completing or doing special services with other characters will all cost you health. So the game definitely has risk-reward kind of built into its very DNA. Now, in terms of said items, while you'll find general items that will just raise your base statistics, the game has a bevy of various relics that will all change or add different things to your character, giving you maybe multiple shots, letting you do more jumps, avoiding bullets, and many, many more. And this all kind of gets factored into the extensive persistent elements of Revita. After each run, you'll be able to use accumulated prison keys to unlock items that will appear in future runs, as well as use different materials to unlock new services and rooms that can show up in future plays. Now, that's not all that Revita has, and one of the major twists of the game is how progression and difficulty get factored in, and I'll talk about that more in kind of the back half of the video. But for the basics, Revita controls pretty nicely. I did have some issues kind of with how much screen shake there is, and sometimes it felt like my dash, which your dash grants you iframes, can sometimes feel a bit delayed. Now, I was playing this with keyboard and mouse. As another bonus or another little tip, if you go into the accessibility options in the menus, you can make the icons in the bottom left hand corner be small, and I would suggest you really do that, because the icons when I played the game were so big that they were actually blocking kind of the background, or I guess the foreground of levels. Now, from playing Revita many times on stream and just on my own, the game definitely has a lot of charm to it. It doesn't necessarily, I think, do anything that pushes the needle forward in terms of action roguelike gameplay, in the same ways that Hades or Dead Cells did, but the game is all around a solid take. But with that said, it does have one very interesting twist that I think will make or break it for people, and we're going to talk about that next. But first, we're going to take a quick break, and if you want to check out more of my thoughts on design, then be sure to check out my game design books. For entry-level students, we have 20 Essential Games to Study, and then the Game Design Deep Dive series that takes an extensive look at different genres, with free-to-play coming in 2022. With a lot of action roguelikes or games that make use of progressive difficulty, that kind of design is meant for kind of bonus play. That you're not intended to play the game into progressive difficulty 10, 20, 30, or so on if you're interested in just the story of a game. But here's the twist that Revita does. The difficulty is a part of the story. When you get through the game for the first time, you unlock a shard, which essentially turns on progressive difficulty. Every time you beat the game on the highest shard you've unlocked, you unlock another one which adds more. Now, these difficulty settings, or these progressive difficulties, will change the game, each one in a unique way, or in one specific way. So one will add more bullets that enemies will spawn. They can increase movement speed, they can raise the cost of shops, they can do all kinds of weird and strange things. At the shard that I'm playing at in the footage you're seeing, I start the game automatically with a curse or negative modifier at the beginning of a run, which normally those have to be found or gone from a cursed treasure chest. So the game is legitimately changing. But in order to actually even get an ending to the game, you need to play up to progressive difficulty 5, because that unlocks a secret conditional that will basically allow you to access the game's final area and actual true final boss. Now, when I did this, the conditional was different, and the developer changed it due to people complaining it was a little too specific. And this is definitely one of the weirder points about Revita, is that if you want to see everything in this game, you have to keep making it harder. And even with that said, the game, at least as I was going up one level at a time, was not really providing me with variance. At this point in the game, again, you can see I'm on Shard 13, I've gotten a very good strategy down, that no matter what items throw at me, I can reasonably assume I'm going to win the run. Now, where the challenge comes in, which can prove frustrating, is that a lot of the unlocks and special rewards really do require expert level play. One will require you to get hitless on every boss, and there's additional bonus rewards for beating an entire level without taking a hit. These secret conditionals can become a little frustrating if you don't know what the game is asking you for, and I did have to look things up to unlock kind of a bonus area. But what can be very frustrating is that at this point in the game, this is not the same as the Binding of Isaac or Hades, where adding in more difficulty was also providing variance with what can show up on a run. Here, because your basic weapon doesn't really change, there are a few items that will, but they are very much in the minority, I kind of get stuck in terms of playing this game one way. Now, as I guess a minor spoiler, so there is a total of 5 areas, 2 of which can have a variant, plus the bonus final act. And that pathing does not change outside of the variants. And I feel that the game has a lot of item diversity, but it's missing the run diversity of, say, Binding of Isaac, where I think at this point there are multiple biome variants for each set of levels. There are the different endings, different bosses, and again, that can just come with more content, which I don't know if there are any more plans for it. But Revita, in a way, reminds me a little bit of Spelunky, in that the bulk of why you would play this game is going to come from the expert challenges. If you're just interested in playing this one time, you're really not even going to see a fraction of what Revita has to offer. And I feel that a lot of people may quit before they get to see kind of the bulk of this game. And I wish that there were maybe fewer difficulty settings, and maybe just making them a little bit more pronounced. I honestly don't know how many progressive difficulty settings there are in this game. At this point, I am on Shard 14, and I am getting some very interesting stuff. But again, I don't feel like the base game is interesting enough or challenging enough to maybe keep my interest if we're going to the 20s, 30s, or even 40s or 50s. So, all in all, with Revita here, I think this is a very solid action roguelike. If you're not a fan of the genre, this game is not going to change your mind one way or the other. If you're looking for a game that offers a lot of challenge, again, not so much in terms of story or general play, but challenges to go after, then I think you're going to enjoy this one. So with that said, we're going to wrap up this review here. I would like to thank the developers for giving me a press key. As always, if you want me to tackle your game in the future, please get in touch. And check out our Discord and Patreon link down below. Come back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom, where is in the art and science of games. Until next time, Take care.